Hi everybody. Today we're going to talk about equations of circles. The first type of equations, or the way we write the equations of circles, is the standard form. The standard form, we have x minus h all together squared plus y minus k all together squared equals r squared. It looks a little bit like the Pythagorean theorem. There is a relation, but it's not for you to know now the relation. Just a way to remember it, to memorize it. Now, we're going to talk about what is h and what is k. First, if we have a circle, the circle has a midpoint. This midpoint is called the center point of the circle, as you know from before. It has coordinates x and y. If we have it on a coordinate plane, we have it on a coordinate plane like that, there are coordinates for this point, the center point, called x and y. Here we call this x and y, we call it h and k. Okay, but this is the first part. Here h and k are the coordinates of the center of the circle. And then what is r? R is the radius of the circle. Any point from the center point to the circumference of the circle is called the radius. This is r. Okay, now let's look at the parts of the equation then. We have here x minus h, which is the x coordinate of the center of the circle, all squared, plus y minus k, which is the coordinate of the y coordinate of the center of the circle, all squared, equals r, which is the radius, squared. Okay, now let's look at one of the examples here. Write an equation for a circle, the center -1 and 3, and the radius of 6. Now here we look at this -1 and we put over it h. And here we look at the 3 and we put over it k. And this is the radius, which is r. Now it's very easy now to write the equation. Our equation, which is exactly like the one above. We put x minus, and then we open a bracket and we put -1 all squared plus y minus, we put 3 as it is, we don't need a bracket because it's positive, all squared equals 6 squared. Okay, now we'll put it in the final form. It will be x minus times minus is a plus, plus 1 squared plus y minus 3 squared equals 36. And this is my equation. Okay? Now, I'm going to give you another example. If we have a circle with a center at 0, 0 and radius at 9, يبقى my 0, the first one is h and the second one is k, and my r is 9. Then it's very easy to write the equation. We have here, my first step is x minus 0 all squared plus y minus 0 all squared equals 9 squared. The second step is x squared because 0 doesn't mean anything, plus y squared equals 81. And this is my equation here. Now, this is the way to find the equation having the center point and having the radius. Now, here is a different way of giving a problem. Here we have a center of 4 and negative 3. 4 and negative 3 means that this is H and this is K. And it passes through a point of negative 2 and negative 3. At this, we can try to substitute in the equation, in the main equation that we're going to write now, to find the off. What are we going to do? First, we're going to write the equation. It will be x minus 4 all squared plus y minus 3, which will be plus 3 all squared, equals r squared that we don't know. Then what are we going to do next? We're going to put the negative 2 and negative 3 instead of x and y. We're going to consider that this is x and this is y. Why are we going to do that? In order to find r. Okay. We can begin by opening our bracket, put negative 2, negative 4 all squared plus negative 3 plus 3 all squared equals the r squared that we want to find. Okay, then what is going to happen next? I'm sorry. Yes. Okay, now we're going to calculate this very simply. Negative 2, negative 4 is negative 6. Negative 6 squared is 36 plus negative 3, positive 3 is 0. So 0 squared is 0. If it has nothing here. Plus 0 equals r squared. Therefore, our r is the square root of 36, which is equal to 6. Okay. Now we're going to finish talking about the second kind of equations to write. The second type is called the general form. The general form, or sometimes we can call it the expanded form. How are we going to deal with equations written in that way? Here, the general form or the expanded form, we will see that we have x squared plus y squared plus ax plus by plus c equals 0. Then, the system that we're going to solve these types of equations is completing the squares. So if we have an example like this that we have here, x squared plus y squared minus 2x minus 4y minus 4 equals 0. This is, if we compare it with this equation, we can see the similarity between them. Okay, now there are some steps that we're going to do to solve this kind of equation. Our first step is to put it in the simplest form, to simplify it first. What's the meaning of simplifying? It means that I must have the coefficient of x squared equals 1 and the coefficient of y squared equals 1. Then if I have a number before the x squared and a number before the y squared, I can find a way to get rid of these numbers and keep them 1. This was my first step. I have it here. It's okay. I don't need to simplify it. Then I'm going to arrange. What am I going to do to arrange? I'm going to put the like terms together in order to complete the squares. My like terms are x squared. I'm going to put beside it the term with the x, which is 2x. And then I'm going to leave a part, get like that. And then I'm going to put my y squared. And I'm going to put what's concerned with the y, which is negative 4y. And I'm going to put the -4, which is the constant, after the equal sign. It will move to after the equal sign by +4. Okay, then now I'm going to do the system to complete the squares. What am I going to do now? Look carefully, please. Now, I want to complete the square of this. What's the meaning of completing the square? It means that I have a bracket, has a number, for instance, x -1 all squared. This is meaning of a complete square. Now I'm going to try to change this into a complete square to be able to write it like that. Why? To be able to transfer this equation in the general form to the standard form. So I can read it, or I can graph it, or I can use it in any way. Okay? Now, how to change this into the completing the square? It's doing as I'm going to show you exactly. I'm going to take this 2 and divide it by 2 first. It's going to give me 1. Okay, -1. And then this -1, I'm going to square it. It's going to give me +1. Okay, this step, I'll take the -1 and I'm going to square it. So it will give me the +1. Okay, what am I going to do with this +1? I'll see now. Then I'll do the same with the other part. Here I have y squared minus 4y. I'm going to take this -4y, I'm going to divide it by 2. Divide it by 2. And this 2 was divided by 2. Okay, it's going to give me -2. Then this -2, I'm going to square it. -2, I'm going to square it. It will give me 4. Then this is concerned with this part. What am I going to do with this 1 and this 4? I'm going to take the 1 and the 4 and I'm going to put them after this sign. يبقى here, as I added them here, I'm going to still add them here. Okay, now let's do that. يبقى this will be +1 plus 4. يبقى I finished with the 1 and the 4. Okay, now what am I going to do with this part here? I must put them here. If I have here +1 and here +4. Then it's very easy now to write it in the completing of the squared form. How am I going to do that? I'm going to show you right away. Now, in the first one, I will have here, it will be x squared, x. I'm going to take this -1 and put it here, x -1 all squared, and here I'm going to have my plus sign, and here I'll have y, and I'll take this number, which is -2, and put it here, -2 all squared equals. Now I'm going to add these 3 terms. They are going to give me 4 plus 1 is 5. 5 and 4 is 9. Is 9. Then this is my equation now, written in the standard form. Okay. Now, what is my center? My center here is 1 and 2. This is the center of the circle. And what is the radius? Radius equals the square root of 9, which is 3. And this is the way to solve the equation in the standard